All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 147-pound division, where now that we have clarity, we've got one of the big dogs in the division stepping up to the plate and is the mandatory challenger for Terence "Bud" Crawford, and that is the sensational young fighter out of the state of Pennsylvania, Jaron "Boots" Ennis, who sends a message to Crawford. I can't wait. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we have, how can we call this? Clarity in the division, in the welterweight division, or do we? Terence Crawford beat ERROL Spence Jr. last Saturday, July 29th, in one of the biggest fights of the century, and won it in dominating fashion. Stops ERROL Spence Jr. in a one-sided fight by knockout in the 9th round. And man, just looked very, very spectacular doing it, but not just strong. Pretty much just walked through ERROL Spence Jr. ERROL looked like a schoolboy in there with a grown man. That's the best way that I could say how the appearance of the fight was, and the better man won the fight. However, it does not provide 100% clarity in that division, because there is a fighter who is the IBF mandatory challenger for Terence Crawford, and that is Jaron "Boots" Ennis, who before this fight took place, I said on multiple occasions that I thought is a lot of trouble for Terence Crawford and ERROL Spence Jr., specifically for Terence Crawford, because Jaron Ennis is extremely good at everything that I believed at the time Terence Crawford was good at. Now, before I get into this, though, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And if you are a longtime subscriber and supporter of this boxing channel, thank you so much, man. And thank you for continuing to have the conversations with me. Matty Yo, my guy, thank you for supporting in the super thanks. Obviously, Mr. Pragmatic, and Deborah Booker, John Boy, the great John Boy. Man, thank you guys so much. But let's get into this, man, because again, this whole thing at welterweight in the welterweight division ain't settled yet, because you've got a fighter who is 28-0, or excuse me, 29. I think he's either 29 or 30-0. Named Jaron "Boots" Ennis out of the city of Philadelphia. He is the IBF interim champion, and he is one of the best fighters in the world. I have Jaron Ennis at number 9 pound for pound. Actually, when I do my new rankings, I think he's going to go up a slot, because I am going to take Steve Fulton off. I'm going to move ERROL Spence Jr. down. I think I'm still going to have ERROL in that top 10. And let me tell you why before anybody complains about it. It's because I'm not going to do a disservice to the guy that's number 1, who's going to be Terence Crawford. You lose to the number 1 guy, still don't mean you're a great, doesn't mean you're a great fighter, means you just can't beat that guy. And we'll get more clarity in the rematch for ERROL moving forward. However, all that said, Jaron Ennis puts out a tweet where he says right after that fight is over with 2 devils, I can't wait. And he said that he was going to get the winner of ERROL Spence and Terence Crawford no matter what, or they're going to have to drop those belts. Now, why do they have to drop the belts if they don't fight Jaron Ennis? Have to drop him because he's the IBF mandatory if they order the fight, right? Not just because you're sitting there, but because they would order the fight. Now, what is going to happen most likely? ERROL said he said we got to run it back, hopefully before December, and go into a match at 154, because ERROL says, look, man, I'm going to do better in the rematch, because he felt like he was really, really drained for the fight And honestly, he looked drained. Okay. Now, let me just take a second here because I know there's a lot of drooling trolls out there right now. If you're in the drooling troll crew, let me explain something to you. Terence Crawford won that fight. You didn't. So he proved a lot of people wrong. No worries. That does not mean that saying that Errol Spence Jr. said he was drained and looking drained does not mean that I'm saying Terence Crawford is not the better fighter. That's not an excuse if it's a fact. It's not an excuse if it's a fact, and you don't directly relate it to the loss. Just to clarify the drooling trolls out there that just want to put a lot of negativity on top of people's heads. Anyway, that said, Terence Crawford probably will not fight Jaron Ennis because Jaron Ennis is a lot of trouble, man. And when I'm telling you he's a lot of trouble, I mean he's a lot of trouble. And that is not a fight. I think before Terence beat ERROL and the way that he did, I thought to myself, okay, I think I got Jaron in this fight because I had never seen Terence Crawford fight on the inside. Now that I've seen Terence Crawford fight on the inside and defend himself on the inside, I'm like, okay, man, this dude's game is much more well-rounded than I thought. He just did not, or than I've seen. I wondered, and honestly, I always knew it was because I had him number one pound for pound for years. It's not new to me. It's new to a lot of other people, but it ain't new to me that he's a number one pound for pound fighter in the year in the world. I've been saying it since Andre Ward retired, which, you know, me being a little bit spiteful in the middle of a video, have to consistently remind people that call me a Terence Crawford hater that I've had that man number one pound for pound since Andre Ward retired, when a whole lot of other people were acting like there was something wrong with that. But that said, we got bandwagoners, so you got to deal with that. That said, he showed that now. However, the length, the speed, the height, the size, Jaron Ennis ain't no joke. And that ain't no guaranteed win for Terence Crawford. Not by a long stretch. And that kid said he is primed and he is ready to go. Now, Antonio Tarver, who is a former world champion, you guys know who Antonio Tarver is, said, look, man, maybe boots. But then again, you may want to let him get a little bit more seasoning. You don't want to put any bad breaks on that man. Now, bad breaks is what? You go in there and you can't stop and you run into something you weren't ready for. For that, I say forget that. That kid's got 30 fights. If he's obviously not going to fight Terence Crawford next, because that's Errol Spence. But I'm telling you, though, Terence ain't got no choice at 147. And if he moves to 154 and doesn't want to fight Jaron Ennis at 154 either, dog, Jaron Ennis can move right up there, beat everybody at 154. And that's going to be that's going to be the test that he'll have to overcome. I'm not going to now say that I think Terence Crawford's Jaron's going to beat Terence, because once again, you know, I don't really know what to make completely of the Errol Spence Jr. fight. I just know that Terence Crawford on the phases of the fights that I have not seen him fight before, he's got him. So, and we'll see what goes on, and we'll go see what's going on with Jaron Ennis as he moves forward. Now, there's also something that people are going to say about not having stopped Karen Kukadajian. Well, Terence Crawford didn't stop Victor Postol at 140 pounds either. So just because you didn't stop one guy doesn't mean that you can't stop somebody else. Anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.